All right. Happy 2026, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Do we have your members in here with us?
No, we're just going to record this for them so they can
Okay.
go on and get it. So are you enjoying customer service as well as doing your job?
It's it's not too bad. I've learned quite a bit actually.
I cannot wait to hear what you've learned. So
It'll
tell
be
me, tell me everything you know.
everything I know is
Yeah.
that devoted uh everything talks to everything over in our customer service, and you can literally get a really far way just by calling 1-800 devoted. And our customer service guides have everything right there at their fingertips.
Really?
So it's pretty special. We don't have to transfer very often with folks, and which equals a great experience for the members. So that's good.
That's great. So I'm Diane Finstead Ellis, and I have with me, this is my friend Michael Scheibel, and he is the broker. What is exactly your title?
So I'm actually a broker relationship manager for
Yay!
Devoted. So my job is to maintain our relationships with the brokers and make sure the brokers have all the tools and knowledge that they need to help our members
Yes.
successfully navigate Devoted.
Awesome. So what's your favorite part of your job?
Getting to interact with people, and helping people, that's my favorite thing. So whether I'm helping members find information or if I'm helping brokers find information, that's my favorite thing. I'm actually a former teacher, so I taught for 12 years, and educating others, teaching someone to fish rather than just giving them a fish is it's a great feeling. So
Absolutely. So talk to me about like how you're trained to do what you do and then what the ongoing training is like for you so that you can do your job to your best of your ability.
so training wise, I mean, pretty much your standard carrier training. So we're constantly making sure that we're pushing out education and tools to us first, because then I have to learn it. So then that way I can teach it to the brokers. And basically, it's just plan education around Medicare and Medicare Advantage, and how we can also work with our provider partners.
Awesome. So your favorite story so far about Devoted, where you went, "Oh my gosh, I am so glad I work for this company." What's your story?
Oh my, so many good ones. Some of it might have to do with this customer service. Might have to do with the customer service I've been doing. I've had a lot of folks just pour their heart out and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for all the help." And in my mind, it's as simple as all I did was make sure your doctor was in network. All I did was let you know that, hey, you're you know this is actually covered this way, not the other way around. I had a lady the other day who was concerned about, she thought because she has a deductible on her part D, she thought, oh, I have to pay that every single month. No, you only have to pay it once a year. And just explaining to her what a deductible was, because these are things that we in the industry,
We talk about it all the
we just
time.
take for granted,
Right.
correct? And your everyday folks, health insurance is very complicated, and
Right.
anytime we can make it more simple. But as far as just like my great like devoted moment,
Yes.
um, my devoted moment is just seeing the members who finally have another option. Because that's what this game's all about. Health insurance is, do you have options at your fingertips as a member, and getting the best option for you? And that's why I do encourage people all the time to work with a broker such as yourself, Diane,
Thank you.
who represent multiple carriers, because just because your neighbor has Humana or Aetna or Devoted or United Healthcare doesn't mean that it's the best for you. So just interacting with with those folks. I do a lot of community events. I'd say that's actually my devoted moment whenever I actually will talk to someone and maybe devoted's not best for them. And I think that's what's great about our company. We're not afraid to tell them, hey, we're not a good fit for you. But talk to our broker here who can find the right fit for you. And so that's the relationships that I build. And I just, that's what I cherish about the job is I actually feel like I'm not just pushing a product. I'm pushing the relationship side where, hey, maybe we're not the best for you this year, but maybe 3 or 4 years from now,
It could be.
if your doctor's in network with us, or we may be a good fit down the road. And if United Healthcare is your good fit this year, please do that. Let's always do what's best for the member. And I think that's why I also love working for this company. We don't try to put a square peg in a round hole.
Right.
If
Right.
you're a round peg, we'll take you. But if we
Perfect.
are not going to try to force, we don't want to force it. We want to make sure that we treat members like family. It's in our that's actually our mission statement is to
Oh,
treat
good.
every person like family. So I always, whenever I think of members, I always think, my mom and dad are both on Medicare, so I always think of mom and dad. All right, what would be best for mom and dad in this
Right.
situation? And then
Absolutely.
because I work with brokers such as yourself, Diane, I always think, what would I want my mom and dad's broker to know, and what would I want my mom and dad's broker to be like, and
Well, that's
that's
so it's
so.
so amazing what you do because I was telling everyone this past fall when I do my education classes on all the plans and review everything with every single client. I was telling them that when I go to conferences across the country, people ask, "Are you really from St. Louis?" And I'll say, "Yeah." And people don't know that when I say I'm from St. Louis, we're in the third area of the country where everyone wants to release a plan because we have five hospital systems right here in St. Louis. And so if it flies in St. Louis, it's going to fly anywhere because they can really see from everyone else's experience all the feedback to see what they need to do to improve the plans and that type of thing. But what it really means is we attract the best broker leaders in America right here in St. Louis. And there's this long line of people that would love to have your job. So you got to be on your toes and you got to be the best at what you do in order to do what you do. So it's so exciting when I tell that to everyone and everyone across the country on my end of things as a broker, they all know. They're like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky to have the Alzheimer's Association there in St. Louis with all the research for WashU. You're so lucky to have Barnes Hospital and Mercy and St. Luke's and SSM. I mean, they just go on and on and on. And I said, and the main thing that I'm so thankful for is you, what you do. So it is one where you are there for us all the time. So with that in mind, as the expert in our area, share with me some of the feedback that you've received about the plans for 2026 and what the clients are most excited about with the plans that they've come on for Devoted. So we can describe that round hole that we're trying to fill with Devoted.
Yeah, so the thing that sticks out with us, plan wise, I think the thing that a lot of people have been attracted to with us, especially in St. Louis, the Missouri side, would be our dual plans and our chronic illness plans. Our chronic illness plans are new for 2026. Um, a lot of people do like the food and home card, especially because on the federal level, the value based care plan went away. So that's a federal level thing across the board. It has been replaced with something called SSBCI. It stands for special supplemental benefit for the chronically ill. So you do have to qualify for those food and home cards. But ours is actually very, very robust this year. Like on our chronic illness plan, that 384, a lot of people really like that. It's a great thing for food and utilities. So folks are getting the help where they need it. And then also on our dual plan, the 332 on that one. And then we have lower dual plans that have different amounts. So hopefully no one's watching this going, oh, I was supposed to get. No, we had different plans. Those are just our top two. Those are just our top two plans, and their levels. The food and home card's great. But the thing that really sets us apart at Devoted, with especially in 2026 and in the future, is the customer service. We touched about it earlier on this call. Our member service guides. I mean, we're answering the phone on average within the first 30 seconds. So you're not sitting there on the phone. And so
Great.
really just that help, that is what sets us apart. People don't see Devoted commercials, and you pretty much won't,
Because the
because
money goes
we
back in the
spend
plan.
we put our money into the plan. We're here to help people. We're not here to create cool commercials. We're not here
Right.
to do it. We're here to do a half-hour infomercial that you see on your lunch break whenever you go to the local watering hole.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Just like earlier
so
today, I just said to
because
a
you know
client,
exactly what I'm talking
yes,
about. Exactly.
they were like, why haven't I ever heard of this? Why haven't I ever heard of this hospital indemnity plan, Diane? Why haven't I ever heard of this short-term home care plan? I said, because that company, if they put the money into marketing, they wouldn't be able to give you the great rate that you're really loving right now. And it's the same thing with the dollars that come in from the federal government to the Medicare Advantage plans. It is one where you are looking at what is going to help the member the most. And that's why you've been able to do that robust amount of money that can go to someone that's on a dual plan that has both Medicaid and Medicare, and then a chronic plan. And that can be year-long enrollment with a chronic plan, right?
Correct. You get one enrollment throughout the year. So if for some reason you are on a dual and want to go to a chronic plan, you can do that one time throughout the year. You don't need any other enrollment period to do so.
Okay.
Um, if you're on a chronic, moving to another chronic plan, it works that way as well. So it's one extra time a year where you could switch plans, which is a good thing for folks because, you know, we always want to make sure people are in the right plan for their needs. And obviously, needs change, and needs don't always just change in a calendar year. Sometimes they change mid-year.
Right.
So
Like
that's a good
tomorrow.
thing. We can get exactly. We can get
It'd be the
folks.
first of the next month.
Exactly. Or like so for example, our chronic plans actually cover so you do have to have diabetes, congestive heart failure, or cardiovascular disorder. But let's say currently you don't have one of those. Well, if you do develop one of those, you now qualify for our chronic illness plan
Okay.
that Diane could help you get into mid-year, and you don't have to wait until the annual enrollment period to do so. So that's what we're talking about here.
So talk to me about what that 334 and that 384 amount can do for a person. So are we looking at a food card, an over-the-counter card, and then also a card for utilities, or is it all in one? How does that work?
So it's food and home. So it's just how it sounds. It's for food and your utilities. You can use it for rent. If you are on HUD housing, you don't want to do that because it will count against
Your
your
score, you get
it'll
a
count as income. So don't do that. I would encourage you to use it towards an internet bill. You can use it for a cable bill. You cannot use it for streaming services. So like Netflix is
no
out.
landman,
No landman, sorry.
no
But you know,
peacock.
your electric bill, your water bill, things like that.
Yeah.
And as far as food goes, it is healthy food. You're not going to be able to go buy soda, alcohol, candy, things like that. It has to be actual food. And these can be used at places such as Walmart, Dollar General, certain grocery stores. You can always check out devoted.com to see which ones are in your area for that. And then you mentioned OTC, the over the counter. Okay, so that is going to be a separate amount on these
Okay.
plans, and the food and home card is going to be like a credit card. You swipe it like a credit card. You use the
Okay.
number like a credit card. So that's the food and home card. That's that 384 or the 332
Okay.
amounts.
332.
And then
Thank you.
there's also yeah, and then there's also the over the counter. The over the counter can only be used at CVS.
Okay.
Okay. So it can only be used at standalone CVS's. I know here in the St. Louis area, we have some CVS's that are inside of Schnucks.
Right.
You cannot use it there, unfortunately.
Okay.
The way your members would use that over the counter, they could pick up, let's say, Band-Aids, vitamins. I would say vitamins is probably the number one thing I hear a lot of folks.
Okay.
So I do talk to some seniors, and they're like, well, what do I even get with this OTC or over the counter stuff? Well, do
Can
you
it
take
be,
vitamins?
well,
Go
that's
get your
great.
vitamins.
Can
So,
it be like the durable medical equipment? Can it go for any of that kind of stuff?
So not durable medical equipment is usually that's going to be ordered from within the plan. So durable
Okay.
medical
Okay.
equipment does not qualify as over the counter. Over
Okay.
the
Even
counter
though
is
they're
going
right
to
next
be
to each other at CVS.
they, they are right next
It's
to each
so
other,
confusing.
CVS, but durable medical equipment is going to be billed through the insurance.
It's gonna
So
be
that would
okay.
be through the actual insurance.
Gotcha.
Whereas over the counter, cough medicine, ibuprofen, Tylenol, Advil, just those pills and vitamins that you would normally
Robitussin,
just buy
Tums.
where you don't need a prescription for it, right?
Right,
It's
right.
it's
Sudafed.
those things. Pseudomedicine, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
There's toothbrushes, toothpaste is on there as well. Adult diapers for those who need them. Those are some items. So smaller items,
Adult diapers,
um,
that is huge because that's
but
so
yeah,
expensive.
and
Oh my gosh. That is so
right.
expensive.
Yep.
That's
And
great.
the over the counter is going to be quarterly.
Okay.
So buyer beware here. If and it's because it's quarterly, it resets on April 1st, July 1st, and October 1st. Whenever I
Okay.
say it resets, let's say it's a $50 over the counter. It depends on what plan you have. So
Uh,
just beware here. So
okay.
depending on your plan, whatever number that is, on if March 31st hits and you have not spent any of that,
It's
go
good.
to CVS, go get some vitamins. Ask a lot of you
Stock
guys have
up.
kids and grandkids. Hey, who needs Tylenol? It's cold and flu season. Let's go get some Dimetapp and Robitussin, right? Make sure you're
So
using
funny.
it because on April 1st, it just would reset back to that 50 or whatever amount you have on your plan.
Oh yeah, it's like my neighbor the other. Oh my gosh, this was like 2 years ago, and so she came up. And it was on Halloween, and she said, "I've got something for you." I'm like, "Did you bring me candy? I don't need any candy." And she said, "No, Diane, I brought you Blistex. It's on a part of my plan. I got it through the over the counter. I got too many of them. Here's yours." So I got Blistex
Very
for
cool.
Halloween. I was thankful. So
Very cool.
you can do those things. That's wonderful. Those are great things. They just change somebody's life to have that available to them. And I can't imagine the utilities. That is just such a big, huge expense for so many people. And those that don't have budget billing, it swings so often as far as that, and that it doesn't count when you're in a HUD housing to have those bills covered that you mentioned. That's huge. I had not taken that into consideration, and I already have some people that I need to call and say, "Hey, you need to watch this video. This might change your life." So on the horizon, when you look at plans coming up in the future, Michael, when do they change the plans internally? So are they going to craft those now in the spring, or do they craft them in the summer? And then I know we as brokers, we release them October 1st every year. So how does that work internally as it's going through the year? So for your
So
year coming up.
yeah, and just to go back really quick, and then I'll answer this question. Just a reminder for everyone listening to this call: the food and home card is monthly. The over the counter is quarterly. So
Quarterly.
I just
Make
want to make sure
sure.
that they don't think, oh, well, I have the whole quarter to spend the food and home. No, the food and home does not carry over either. That's monthly. So you want to make sure you're using that because that resets as well.
Yeah. It
And to
reminds me of
answer,
Kohl's dollars, like they'll say, here, you only have this much money. And I keep thinking, oh, I'm
yeah,
going to come back and I'm going to use it. And then I look at it the day late and I'm like, oh, I missed my Kohl's
yeah.
money.
If you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Right, right,
So
exactly.
but back to your question about the plans. So I believe submissions are due sometime in April.
Okay.
So as of right now, they usually starting in February, they start going, okay, what do we want our plans to look like in 2027? It's
Okay.
based off of enrollment and costs and where we see the markets going. Um, excuse me, and where we see needs across the nation.
Okay.
Um, we just finished up obviously the annual enrollment periods, and those plans all started on January 1st. We doubled our enrollment this year.
My
We went from
gosh, that's awesome.
yeah,
That is awesome.
we
Yay.
went from 230,000 members all the way up. Now we are at 468,000, and we call them
Wow.
members. We don't
And
just want to
that's
call you a
why
member.
you've
You're
been
alive.
double duty, learning all about the
It's-
customer service and how it all works.
ex- exactly. And then so basically submissions are due sometime in April, and then throughout the summer we can tweak. We can change
Okay.
specific benefits. So like the big part of the plans we send to, it's called CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Uh-huh.
We send a proposal to them. They either approve it or say, hey, you need to fix this. I believe the next round is due at the end of July then. So, like, if we want to
Okay.
tweak things, do it at the end of July. Final submissions there. And then we're allowed to still tweak all the way up until October 1st is when actually plans come
Really
out.
set.
So,
Okay.
yeah, with and members on this call, this is all companies. You want to be looking at your mailbox the last week of September and possibly the first week of October, because we do send out something called an annual notice of change letter.
The A
Okay, and
knock. Knock
a knock,
knock.
right? We're not really knocking on your mailbox, but we should be. Um, do not ignore that letter, because that's the letter that'll literally tell you, okay, here's what your plan looked like this year, and then literally in the next column, this is what it looks like next year. You
Yes.
really want to use that going into the annual enrollment period, and you can call Diane. She'll sit down with you and go through it, and to really see, okay, it was a great plan for me this year, what are the
Do
changes
it
for
for
next
next
year, and
year.
is there something better out there? This isn't car insurance where you shop it every 2 years. You want to do this every year.
Every
So
year.
just a little
Thank
nugget in
you.
there for
Yes.
ANOC. So
Yes, it's so important because I think it's one where a lot of people don't realize what that is and they think, oh, it's just another piece of information. So you've got to look for it. I tell everyone just keep everything that your carrier sends you. And if you ever need me to review it, come on by. We will sit down and have some lunch while we just throw the pieces that you don't need anymore, but you can keep the ones you do need. But
there you go.
that is for sure. You've got to start looking for that in September and also before, October 15th. And usually what clients do is they bring that ANOC with them and then we highlight it. They'll highlight it together. So, and I can
Very cool.
say, okay, here's this year, here's next year. And sometimes we look 3 years back to see if there's any trends. So we can try and predict the future, but you never can. No one has a crystal ball. So anyway.
If you get one though, you let me know, and
I
I'll
do
be,
have one, but it just doesn't work.
oh,
I really
we
was
got to get
doing
that
it
fixed.
like as a gift from one of my former carriers. They were like, Diane, you need your crystal ball. And I'm like, yeah, I need the gypsy name to go with it too. There's no way I can see into the future. They're like, no, you can't, but you can try. So anyway, I think that this has really touched on some of the greatest things. Where can we see Devoted out in the community? Where are you guys? You're everywhere that I am, but I know you're in more places than me. So where are you right now in the community marketing?
We're at a lot of health fairs. We've been doing a lot with provider offices. So we do a lot with some value based care provider offices such as Archwell and Dedicated in St. Louis. We do a lot with those folks. That's just another option beyond the rest of our network. Currently, our network, the big Ys, consists of Mercy, BJC. We do not have SSM. So again, if you have an SSM doctor,
Yet.
you're
I'm gonna say
you're the
yet. You don't have
you're
them
the
yet.
square you're the square peg. Good
Right.
square peg. Sorry, Devoted's not going to be great for you at this time. But talk to Diane, and she can definitely make sure that you go with. I think Essence, I know, has them. There's some other carriers, for sure. Get with those folks. They're great people over there as well. But we also have St. Luke's. We have Washington University. You had mentioned them earlier. So we
Right.
do a lot with our providers out in the community. You might just see us popping up at some community events. I know last summer we did some concerts out in Chesterfield. A lot of times when you go to these events, you might see me, you might see Greg Orta. He's our community outreach specialist. But a lot of times you're actually going to see brokers. You'll see folks like Diane. Um, you'll see the brokers out there working our table and sharing the information that they get from myself and Greg about Devoted. We'll see a big orange tent if it's an outdoor event, or you'll see a table with this
With that
logo
right
right
there.
here on it.
Or you
And
might even see a stand up of Lionel Richie.
so you won't actually. Lionel went away. Lionel,
Oh
yeah, we used to have Lionel. So what Diane is referring to is we used to have Lionel Richie was a cardboard. He was a cutout because he
it
he did a lot
looked
of
so real
our
in all of the pictures and everything.
yeah,
People were like, "Did
he
you
was our
meet
spokesman. He was our
him?"
spokesman for 2024 and 2025, but his contract expired and he
Darn it!
decided not to renew, which is okay. But if we get anyone new in the future, we'll make sure that those cardboard cutouts end up at all of our community events. But basically, yeah, we're out in the community. That's why you don't see a lot of commercials from us. We want to be out there, boots on the ground, talking to people, so that way they're getting the right information, and that way we can try to meet them where they're at without being the guy, the old, oh, he's way up in a skyscraper. He doesn't understand what I go through on a daily. So that's
Right.
why we're trying to be out in the community so we can hear the voices of our members, hear the voices of people who prospects want to be members, and try to meet them where they're at to just help everybody. So
Well, I am so excited for the growth of Devoted because my clients know that I'm not just licensed in Missouri, I'm licensed in 29 states. And so I'm based in St. Louis. I have an office in Creve Coeur, and then I also have an office in Valley Park, which are both parts of St. Louis. But then clients will call me and they'll say, "Can you help my brother or my sister or my aunt or my uncle or my mom or my dad?" And then I'll say, "Of course I can." And then I'll just add a license and be able to do that. So it's years ago that I was in South Carolina where my husband was living, and I was living here in St. Louis. We'd gone back and forth and back and forth. And Eddie had said to me, "Honey, why don't you add Florida? Why don't you've got South Carolina. Why don't you add Florida?" So I did. And Devoted is really, really big in Florida. And it
mhm.
is because of the customer service that my clients have received in the state of Florida, that when Devoted came here, and this will be your third enrollment coming into 2026. So, of being here in the St. Louis market, I was over the moon when I found out Devoted was coming here because all of my clients have said, "Diane, I can call into customer service and they know who I've talked to the last time that I called in. They can see my call log. They will answer my questions and they won't repeat themselves over and over. And I feel like they know me when I call them." And that's huge for a company, for people to feel that and feel taken care of. And so the name Devoted, it really, you are really devoted to the client. And so it's such an appropriate name, and you're devoted to overall healthcare and education. And that's what I see from your company so much, not just in our state, but in all the other states that you represent. So I just want to congratulate you on the growth. And I think that's wonderful. And I do think it's coming from what you have already stated, the customer service. It's outstanding because of people like you. So yeah,
Appreciate that,
they're
Diane.
obviously attracting really good people. They're going to need
We
more.
do have some of the
Sounds like.
best. I'll tell you what.
Oh my gosh. So in closing, what do you want everyone to know when they made it through the end of this video? What do you want them to know about Devoted now and going into the future?
I would just say that we're here for you in any way, shape, or form you need us. We're in the community. We're also available via text. We're available via phone call. You can always call 1-800-DEVOTED. You can also text us. 866-85 is our. You can text us, and we will text us a question if you have it. We
Give
can
us that
text you
number
back.
one more time.
866-85.
86685.
I'm pretty sure that's the number. If not, double check your welcome packet whenever we send it to you. But we do like kind of like example if somebody has so our dental plan, okay, if you have a DSNP or a CSNP, you would go through
Plan or
Delta
chronic
Dental,
plan. Uh-huh.
right? Or if you don't have a special needs plan, such as our core plan or our give back plan, that's those folks are on a reimbursement for dental, so they can literally
Go
go
anywhere.
pay the dental bill, text us, pay me back at 866-85,
Mhm.
and when they do that, we send them a link. They fill it out, take a picture right there with their phone of the bill, and boom, our average turnaround is usually around a week and a half. I would,
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Our average is 5 days, but we like to just to give us a little more time. It's a week and a half. We'll tell you, because then that way we can over deliver. We like to over deliver a lot.
Yes.
We like to hear people go, "Oh, well, Devoted actually got it to me in 4 days."
Yes.
Sweet, like
There
we
was a
we, we
similar
love that.
conversation like that when I was at one of the leaders, because I go to all the different leader events for all the different companies. And so at different times, and people say, well, my gosh, Diane, what hat do you have on today? I'm like, your hat. I work for you.
Mhm.
But I was standing there, and there was several of the different companies saying, well, we can do it like this. Well, ours does it like this, where ours does it like that. And again, it's St. Louis. We all share things. And we all want everyone to have the best experience possible when it comes to healthcare. That's why you have insurance. You want it to work for you. You want to know that the company is there for you. And you want to know that if you run into a problem, that you can just take a deep breath and know it's going to be okay. You're in the right place, and you've put your money into a system that actually cares about you receiving results and the benefits that you need. So I was just loving it, because I was telling some other people across the country about that whole just everyone talking about the plans and what they did and this and that from all the different companies. And they said, Diane, they don't do that anywhere else. So I said, yeah, that's right. That's why I'm in St. Louis. That's why we're lucky. We all like each other.
That's right.
So Michael and I, everyone that's listening, we are on, we serve on the National Association of Benefits and Insurance Professionals. So that's one of their places that they represent Devoted every year at the Missouri Symposium and all the symposiums across the country. And they will even be in DC, as I understand, when I go in February this year, for our day on the Capitol, to lobby on February 23rd. And then April 14th, we'll all go down to see everybody in Jefferson City to say hello to all of our legislature down there, to let them know on things they should be voting on, not just because it's a Devoted thing or a Diane Finistad thing. It is an industry thing. And both of us are committed to make sure that everyone is getting the health care that they deserve and need. So I thank you so much for what you do and taking the time to be with me and to say hello to all of the people that I know need to know you, and I know you can help. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, I'm going to let you go help some more people, friend.
That sounds great. Diane, message out to everyone on this call. You're working with a great broker, a great friend, and a great person.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And
Right
just
back
know
at
that
you.
she's always going to be working for you first. That's the brokers that we work with always work for the member. And that's what we always try to, that's what we push. That's what all the other carriers, I believe, push as well. And that is that Diane works for you. She's going to get you the best plan. And I appreciate all your time. I appreciate the invite today. I appreciate the opportunity to share Devoted. It's a company that I love. And yeah, you have yourself a wonderful day, Diane.
Yes, Happy New Year. And I will
Happy
see
New
you soon,
Year.
my friend. All right, take
Sounds
care.
great.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. We got it recorded.